Cirie Fields, born July 18, 1970, is an American nurse and reality TV personality who competed on 4 seasons of Survivor. Early life. Fields was born on July 18, 1970 in Jersey City, New Jersey. She grew up partially in Norwalk, Connecticut with her sisters Carla and Cicely, and her brother Kenneth. She once worked as a surgical instrumentalist, home care provider, candy factory worker, and telemarketer. She studied nursing at St. Francis Nursing School in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, where she earned her degree. She went on to work as a clinical coordinator at Norwalk Hospital Surgical Center. Survivor. Fields has participated in 4 different seasons of Survivor, and has even been praised by series host Jeff Probst for being a self-proclaimed couch potato who got up off the couch to live their adventure. Panama. Fields first gained fame on Survivor Panama Exile Island. Originally cast as a member of Kasaya, the tribe made up of the oldest women in the game, she was at risk of being the first one eliminated when her tribe lost the first immunity challenge. However, she used her persuasion skills to convince Melinda Hyder and Ruth Marie Milliman to vote off Tina Shear. When the 4 original tribes were contracted down to 2, leaving only the La Mina and Kasaya tribes in the contest, Fields was once again in the spotlight as one of the physically weakest competitors on the new Kasaya tribe, but saved herself yet again on day 6 when Hyder was eliminated. Eventually, Fields was able to assimilate with her tribe mates, and managed to make the marriage. With only 4 players in the game on day 34, Danielle DeLorenzo and Terry Dietz teamed up to eliminate Fields after they were both sent to Exile Island by Eros Baskoskas, who would go on to win immunity on day 36. Alone at camp, Fields and Baskoskas decided to vote out DeLorenzo since Dietz probably had a hidden immunity idol and they did not want to risk it being used. Already predicting a draw in the subsequent fire-making challenge, Dietz coached DeLorenzo on starting a fire using flint, while Baskoskas did the same with Fields. At Tribal Council, the imminent tie vote happened and DeLorenzo and Fields were deadlocked at 2 votes each. The two faced off in the fire-making challenge where, using a flint and materials to support the fire, coconut shells, pieces of wood, straw, etc., they were to create a bonfire high enough to burn through a rope. The first one to complete this task would survive, while the other would be sent to the jury. In this challenge, Fields lost and became the 6th member of the jury, placing 4th overall. In her final words following her elimination, Fields said that she was proud of having come so far in the competition. At the final tribal council, Fields voted for Baskoskas over DeLorenzo to win the prize of $1 million and the title of sole survivor. During this season, Fields herself won a 2007 GMC Yukon pickup truck for being voted most popular participant of the season by viewers. Micronesia. 2 years after her first Survivor competition, Fields returned to the show for Survivor Micronesia Fans vs. Favorites, which premiered on February 7, 2008. She was initially assigned to Malakal, the tribe of favorites, or returning players, and initially floated between the 2 alliances within this tribe, one consisting of Ani Cusack, Eliza Orleans, Jonathan Penner, and Yaman Chon, and the other consisting of Amanda Kimball, James Clement, Oscar Ozzy Lust and Parvati Shallow, with Johnny Fairplay also meandering between both alliances. Fields volunteered to be sent to Exile Island with Kathy Sleckman of I Ride, the tribe of fans, or first-time players in the game, after Malakal won the combined reward/immunity challenge in the episode 2. In the 3rd episode of the season, she opted to join the alliance of Kimmel, Lust, Clement, and Shallow after doubting the trustworthiness of Penner and Chon. On this occasion, Fields convinced her alliance to eliminate Chon, instead of Orleans, for being one of the biggest threats in the game. In episode 4, Fields remained secure since her tribe had won immunity. By the 5th episode, the original tribes were switched and Fields ended up in the new Malakal tribe, formed by 4 fans and 4 favorites. After the merge, Fields became part of the Black Widow Brigade, an all-female alliance consisting of herself, Kimmel, Shallow, Natalie Bolton, and Alexis Jones. After the merge, she concocted a plan to take Ozzy out due to him being a physical threat and possessing an immunity idol. Cirie, along with Natalie, Alexis, Parvati, and Jason, who was slated to be eliminated, voted out Ozzy, subsequently blindsiding Amanda. This alliance was forced to vote out one of its own on day 33, after the lone surviving outsider, Eric Reichenbach, won his 2nd straight immunity. That night, Fields joined the majority of the tribe in voting against Kimmel, but to everyone's surprise, Kimmel produced an immunity idol, which cancelled all the votes against her and sent Jones out of the game instead. On day 36, Reichenbach won immunity yet again, but before Tribal Council, Fields came up with a plan to keep the Black Widows intact. She would try to trick Reichenbach into thinking that he was untrustworthy and that he needed to give his immunity to Bolton to earn back the jury's trust. Fields even went so far as to assure him that she and Bolton would join him in voting out Shallow if he gave up immunity. The plan worked, and Reichenbach gave his immunity necklace to Bolton right before the vote. Without immunity, Reichenbach was unanimously voted out. At that point, Fields was sure that she was just one Tribal Council away from securing a spot in the finals. But at the next Tribal Council, following the elimination of Bolton, Probst revealed that there would be one more immunity challenge followed by one last Tribal Council, to decide who would get to plead their case to the jury in the final two. Kimmel went on to win final immunity, and Fields was voted out in third place, as the eighth and final member of the jury, as Kimmel felt that Fields was a jury threat. She would end up casting her final jury vote for Shallow to win the $1 million prize, and the title of Sole Survivor, over Kimmel. Heroes vs. Villains. For the third time in her career, Fields was chosen to participate in Survivor, this time for its 20th season, Heroes vs. Villains. As part of the Heroes tribe, she immediately became targeted for elimination by Tom Westman and Stephanie LaGrossa, but survived the first Tribal Council when the Heroes tribe unanimously eliminated Jessica Sugarkuiper, who was seen as the weakest and most emotional person on the tribe. In episode 2, Fields and her tribemate, Candace Woodcock, became the decisive votes in eliminating LaGrossa by a 63 margin. In episode 4, after being given a clue to a hidden immunity idol and believing that Westman had found it, Fields devised a plan to eliminate a member of the opposing alliance and eventually the immunity idol. She wanted to split the votes between Westman and Colby Donaldson, but she did not count on J.T. Thomas, who had eavesdropped on her plans. At Tribal Council, Thomas betrayed his alliance and helped eliminate Fields after Westman used his idol. She was the fourth person eliminated from the season, placing 17th overall. Game Changers. In 2017, Fields was featured in Survivor Game Changers, her fourth time on the show. Initially placed on the Nooka tribe, she was eventually switched to the brand new Tavua tribe, then the Mana tribe, and finally, the merged Maku Maku tribe, making her the only player of the season to be on 4 different tribes. Following the merge, she aligned with Michaela Bradshaw. At the first post-merge Tribal Council, Bradshaw was targeted for elimination, but Fields managed to get Hallie Ford voted out instead. On day 25, Fields struggled to finish the obstacle course featured in the reward challenge, but Jeff encouraged her to keep trying, and she eventually finished, albeit long after the challenge was decided. At that same challenge, Sarah Lachina had found a vote stealer advantage hidden under a bench. A few days later, Lachina told Fields about this advantage. On day 35, Lachina gave Fields custody of the advantage as a sign of trust, and Fields promised to give it back after Tribal Council was over. But at that night's Tribal Council, Fields tried to play the advantage, only to learn that it was now transferable. Lachina, upset at Fields' attempt to usurp the advantage, immediately targeted Fields' ally Bradshaw, who was indeed voted out that night. The following night, Brad Culpepper won immunity, and at Tribal Council, Fields joined Aubrey Bracco and Tai Trang in voting against Lachina, while the rest of the tribe split their votes between Bracco and Trang. After the votes were cast, though, Trang played 2 idols, one for himself and one for Bracco. Lachina then played her legacy advantage, which gave her immunity at the final 6. This prompted Troyson Robertson to play his own immunity idol as well. In the end, Fields, being the only one without any immunity, became the first player ever to be eliminated by default, despite having no votes cast against her. She placed 6th overall and was the 8th member of the jury. At the final Tribal Council, she voted for Lachina to win the $1 million prize over Culpepper and Robertson. Legacy. On December 12, 2011, Fields was inducted into Xfinity's Survivor Hall of Fame. In a 2015 issue of CBS Watch magazine, commemorating the 15th anniversary of Survivor, she was voted by viewers as the 10th greatest contestant in the history of the series to date. In total, she has played the game of Survivor a total of 121 days, making her one of only a handful of players to have passed the 100-day mark on Survivor. In 2016, she appeared in a special episode of The Price is Right which featured multiple former Survivor contestants competing on the show. Personal life. Fields is married to Clarencio H.B. Hacker, and together, they live with her 3 children John, Jamie, and Jared.